The regular headlock has three major points: pummeling, footwork, and hip action. It also has three tie-ups in which you can use to execute this throw. Kevin Hill, my throwing partner here, is pummeling with me. As he pummels in, you step and throw. You use pummeling to help you set up the throw. The second point is the footwork. You lead with your right leg in between your opponent's legs. You back step with your left leg and pivot on your right front toe. Both feet should end up together between your opponent's legs. Third point, hip action. As you do the footwork, your hip comes all the way through across your opponent's far hip. The first of the three tie-ups is the forearm tie-up. The two major points here, the head snap and the forearm pull, pulling tight to your chest. And here's the throw. The reverse headlock has four major points: the tie-up, the footwork, the hip and twist motion, and the follow-through. This reverse headlock is a great option if the regular headlock is not there. The tie-up goes as follows. Use the underhook tie-up, pulling your opponent's head tight to your chest and shifting your hands. The footwork, step deep between your opponent's legs. Third point, hip and twist. Pull your opponent's head tight to your chest, hip in, and step with your leg. Fourth point, as you step, you continue to keep stepping between your opponent's legs until he goes down. This may take more than one rotation. Not a very pretty throw, high amplitude, but very effective. Here it is, one more time. Under to a headlock is a very powerful throw. There's three basic points to this which have all been covered previously in this tape. Point number one, the duck under. Point number two, the footwork. Point number three, the hip action. Here's point number one, the duck. Point number two, the footwork. And point number three, the hip action. Now let's look at the move in full sequence. Here it is, one more time. fireman's carry defense. The main points here are 1, slipping your arm out, and 2, popping your hips, meeting your opponent's momentum. As Kevin shoots the fireman's carry, you explode, popping your hips, and pull your arm out at the same time. Here it is from the opposite angle. And here it is from a back angle. Again, it's important to smash him with your hips as he shoots. You have to break his momentum. Now here's a close-up of how you pull the arm out. You turn your palm away and slide it directly straight and upward. At the same time as you do that, you pop explosively with your hip. Again, you don't sprawl backwards or give any ground at this point. Jam him and go behind. And here it is again. When your opponent shoots a double leg from the open position, the 3 main points you want to keep in mind are 1, stop his momentum with your forearm shiver. 2, jam his head down and cover him with your hips. And 3, sprawl into him as opposed to sprawling away from him. Now here in slow motion again, notice how I meet Kevin's shot with my power. I do not step backwards. That's very important. Then I jam the head and go behind. If you put his head down, his body will follow. Here it is from the opposite angle. And here it is from the regular angle again. Notice, again, when Kevin shoots, over-exemplify the forearm into his chest or face area. Notice here the hips and covering the head. And then when I sprawl, I move into him, not away from him. If your opponent gets by your initial defense on that double leg, you can still stop him. Let's take a look and see how. If your opponent shoots and you fail to hit him with your forearm and stop his momentum, and he gets to your legs, the main thing you should be thinking of is getting his head inside, jamming it down with your hand and hips. Remember, where his head goes, his body will follow. Now notice in slow motion, when Kevin shoots, he gets to my legs. The first thing I do is jam the head inside and cover it with my hips. Here it is from the reversed angle. And here it is from the regular angle again. This is a close-up of me jamming his head inside and covering it with my hip. Once I got his head on the inside, then I jam him with my hips and make him fall backwards. Now once I'm in the sprawl position, I can use my hand in his crotch to help me buckle him and knock him off balance. Here's the move again. One shut down, go behind. On this one, notice the short, jerky motion as you step backwards, trying to put your opponent's head not only to the mat, but through the mat. In slow motion, stepping backwards and jerking your opponent's head down to the mat. Here it is from the reverse angle. And here it is from the regular angle again. Now let's take a look at the second finish, the circle and snap. On this particular one, your first initial steps are backwards, then you circle and snap his head the same way you're circling. Powerful snap. Here it is in slow motion. Here it is from the reverse angle. And here it is again. Now let's take a look at the stand, lift, throw finish. The important points here are the way you lock the face with your arms, and also the way you block your opponent's head with your hips. This move is a great freestyle, Greco, or high school throw, by the way. Here it is in slow motion. Notice the way I step up, block his head, and pull the lock straight up as I throw. Finishing on top. Here it is from the reverse angle. Now notice the lock. I turn my opponent's face the same way that I have his arm locked. The back of my forearm across his cheekbone. That puts a lot of pressure on his neck as I lift. The next point is the hips. Blocking your opponent's head with those hips is crucial. Again, this isolates his neck and puts pressure on his neck and enables you to throw him. Here's the throw again. Now notice how I finish this move, posting on my head and over the top of him. Now let's take a look at the knee lift throw. If your opponent is on his base, or on his belly for that matter, you can still hit a knee lift throw, which is very similar to the stand lift throw. You want to block your opponent's head with your hips and lock across his face. This putting a great deal of pressure on the back of his neck, making him want to go to his back. Again, notice how I finish posting on my head. Here it is from the reverse angle. And here it is from the regular angle again. The locked face turn is a great freestyle or Greco move especially. You pull your opponent's face tight to your chest with your forearm, turning his head. The key is to turn your opponent's head, which will in turn make his body follow. Powerful, quick move for 2 exposure points. Here it is from the reverse angle and the regular angle. Again, the key is pulling the head tight to your chest with your forearm. Now let's take a look at the last finish, the inside trip. As your opponent fights the front headlock by standing up and pulling away, you can inside trip him. You may even fake by trying to snap his head down, and again, as he gives you resistance, you step inside below the knee and trip. Here it is in slow motion. Notice the inside step, finishing on your toes, posting on your head. Here it is from another angle. Here it is from a back angle. And here is regular angle one more time.